you have kissed, the most famous person you have banged. Well, I think she's talked about it, so it's fine. I mean, certainly Chelsea Handler was somebody I used to have great times with, and she's great. She was great in general. Just such a brassy broad. Brassy. The singer Fiona Apple.
Oh, yeah.
Another amazing human being. There might be a couple more. There are. Yeah, there are.
There's a director. I don't know if we should say it, but I don't.
Yeah, there are a number of.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll leave it at that. But there are definitely other very famous women that I've back when I was a young, handsome, single fella.
But it wasn't just a hookup, right? You guys are still cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, and then almost all the women in my life, I would hope, certainly the women I dated, I'm still, I hope I would still have a good relationship with. I don't know. Bracy, is it possible for you to do a comedy without talking about cock and riding horses? Kyler, the answer to that question is no. I mean, I try, but I just can't do it. I mean, I have to talk about cock and I have to talk about riding horses, and sometimes I have to talk about horse cock. I haven't talked about riding horse cock, though, I don't think, or maybe I have. Anyway, Ethan Petty, what happened to the Steven Crowder podcast role you had? Any contact with Steven and I are still buddies, talk all the time. He's just in Dallas. He's in Dallas. It got really hard for me to go, and, they don't need me on that show. He's so good, man. Crowder's so good on his own. He's just so talented. Any contact with Bryan Shaw or Dr. Angel B? Bryan, with all due respect, and I mean all due respect, how can you relate to the common folk when all your stories are with millionaires and billionaires? Brendan, how was the weekend, Bryan? Callen, I was hanging out with Sylvester Stallone or Bill Gates or the one-eyed sniper, Jeff Bezos. It drives us viewers insane when you give your grandiose perspective of common folk problems. Love you all, and I've been a fan for at least 8 years of TFATK. Dude, it's so funny you say that. I told you that story. When you're friends with really rich people, you're like, one of the things you realize, you're like, I'm never going to come close to this. Some people just make crazy money, and you're like, because I'm even at an age where it's impossible not to meet people that have done insanely well. But really, really rich people still want friends. They still want to hang out. So just because you're a billionaire doesn't mean you want to share it with people. So it's not really a thing, until until they start talking about flying to St. Bart's in a private jet, and you're like, oh, I'll be flying commercial when I can afford it, which I can't.
But those people want to hang out with you, like people like you.
Probably.
Which is interesting, yeah.
Probably, yeah. Because we're fun.
Yeah. And plus you're.
Yeah. Sean Case, why do you still do TFATK? Is it for the money? Yeah, all the money I make. Or do you still enjoy shooting the shit with Schaub still? I still enjoy it. I missed your energy you had, man. I hate to bring up your age because I know you still got it. I just hope you still want it. It's a great question, dude. And I take it to heart. And I do. And I will think about that. I'll think about your comment. But no, I still love doing it. Bobby Acosta, question from a native Austinite. What's your favorite and least favorite aspect of relocating here now that you've settled in? I don't like that I don't have a view of the ocean. And I will say that I'm kind of far out. And I liked being in proximity to things that I just wanted, like a deli or a supermarket. That's a bit of a pain in the ass. And I think Austin's kind of small. I mean, the only real hub is downtown, let's be honest. Yeah. Anyway.
The Lockhart thing.
Bryan, you are a uniquely funny individual. Thanks for keeping at it all through the BS. What was the most lucrative part of your career? Acting, stand-up, or podcasting? Podcasting. When we were killing it we were doing great. I was making so much money when I was on a TV show and podcasting and doing stand-up. It was nuts. I mean, I was making so much money. Bryan, you're awesome. I love your. I'm friends with P. Diddy's chef. He was P. Diddy's chef for 4 years, right? He was at his house. He would cook for his parties. And I said, dude, like, what did you see? And he goes, dude, I was there till 2 a.m. I never saw any of these parties. Isn't that funny? He was like, I was the chef, and I knew that forever. So I don't know. You hear a lot of stories. Ian, hey Brian, I remember reading you and Chris were going to take a prank show, have a prank show or something. Yep, on Netflix before all that BS came out. Can you give some insight on what the show would have been about? Yeah, it was Chris and I. We were just going to do like things like Quick and Dirty. We're going to do crazy shit, and we were actually building it when that happened. It sucks. Thoughts on questions for Nick Simmons, up and coming comedian, grinding. Yeah, he's great. He's great. Yep.
Bryan Callen did a Q&A and answered some more questions. The Netflix deal with D'Elia. Wait a minute. Bryan Callen and Eskimo Brothers with 50 Cent. And how many comedians have banged Fiona Apple? Wasn't she with Louis C.K. too or something? Oh my God, was she a one-hit wonder? And her one hit was only really a hit because of the music video. I didn't think the song. But aside from that, Callen talking about that Netflix deal that he had with Chris D'Elia, and then the allegations happened, and they went away. However, when they first happened to D'Elia, Bryan Callen said he hardly knew D'Elia, barely ever hung out with him. Of course he did, but literally, he was doing a TV show with D'Elia for Netflix. So that's how quick Callen will throw you under the bus. And look, Callen, hey, look, if Callen would have never had the allegations put against him, D'Elia would have stayed under that bus too. Because him and Schaub threw him right under. So there's that. But, I mean, they finally got Callen to do the Q&A. He said he made the most money when they were at the height of the podcast and he was on TV. Well, yes, of course. But, I mean, everything else in this entire thing from, him knowing the billionaires and the rich people to him trying to convince himself to continue doing the podcast, even though it pretty much is dead at this point. And just all the other stuff. I mean, they had to, Schaub and Shin, what they had to go through to even get Callen to sit down and do this. And they made sure, because this is the only the second time he's done it. The first time he did it, he stayed there for less than 30 minutes. So at the end of this one, they had a goal of 100 questions that he knocked out. He did basically a question a minute. But even that, he doesn't really even want to answer the questions fully or anything. I don't know, he's in some limbo, some hell, and Callen is definitely not happy about it. But let me know your thoughts in the comments.